Hello again to another Aga Calera React, and today we'll be reacting to the Geography of Fruits Part 2. Last week I watched the Geography of Fruits Part 1, or with no Part 1 there, just Fruits, from Atlas Pro. All the information in the description box below, and just jump into it. Because I really want to know what kind of other fruits he's gonna include in this.
So
one.
I took a look back and found that it was over a year ago that I made the Geography of Fruit. Since making that video, it's garnered over 1.6 million views, and so many comments about all of the fruits I missed that it's only right to provide an update. So what better time could there be for revisiting an old classic and learning the geography of lesser known fruit? Okay, so by the end of the first Geography of Fruit video, we found that most fruits originated from only a few select areas. This is to be expected, as the variety of native crops always ties back to the biodiversity of an area, which naturally means that the tropics are where we'll find more unique fruits than anywhere else. The first place humans started growing and cultivating their own domesticated fruit breeds was, of course, where civilization itself got its start, Mesopotamia. As a result, the fruits originating here remain some of the most popular in the world. So popular, in fact, that I already mentioned all of the common fruits originating here in the first video. But for consistency's sake, apricots, cantaloupe, dates, figs, grapes, and pomegranates all got their start here. If you want more info on those, you should go back and watch the first video. If you do that, then you'll see that I only brought up 3 fruits from all of Africa: clementines, honeydew, and watermelons. But this largely ignored tropical Africa, where fruits like tamarind, ackee, kiwano, and calabash are to be found. Tamarind is the only species in its genus, meaning that it's incredibly hard to find something to compare it to if you've never tasted it before. The Arabians who named the fruit really should have watched this video though, as the name tamarind translates from Arabic into Indian date, as by the time they encountered the fruit, it had already made its way to India, which remains the #1 producer today. Ackee is one of the more confusing fruits to look at, but that's a good thing. You see, when the fruits aren't fully ripe, they might look more appealing, but they still contain hypoglycine toxins, which can cause a condition known as Jamaican vomiting sickness. So you're better off waiting for the fruit to yawn or smile, making it easier to remove the seeds and safe to eat. Despite its exotic nature, kiwano might actually look familiar to a lot of you watching. Don't worry, it took me a while to realize it too, but this is the fruit that you'll see on all of those clickbait ads saying they're the cure for being overweight. Kiwano are in fact not the cure for being overweight, nothing is, but at the very least it wouldn't be bad for you to eat more fruit. Calabash, however, is by far the most useful of the African fruits. While you can eat it if you want, most people end up hollowing out the fruit and using the tough exterior as a container. That's how the calabash earned its nickname, the bottle gourd, although people have also used them to make bowls, utensils, hats, and helmets, and literally so many different types of instruments. Lacking the same level of biodiversity as other tropical regions, however, Africa remains a smaller fruit-producing hotspot, and while the calabash certainly is an impressive gourd, our next fruit hotspot, Mesoamerica, has it beat. Here, the many early civilizations of the region widely cultivated the cucurbita genus, diversifying into 5 different species collectively known as squash. While yes, these are typically prepared and eaten more like vegetables than fruit, they still harbor seeds deep within them, making pumpkins, zucchini, and all the rest of the genus technically count as fruits. Now, being the home of an entire genus would be impressive in its own right, but squash wasn't the only genus cultivated by the Maya and Aztec. These people also proliferated the capsicum genus, but most of us would call capsicum fruits by a different name, peppers. Yes, these are fruits too, and include the bell pepper, chili pepper, jalapeno, cayenne, and habanero, to name a few. While most of us enjoy fruits for their sweet flavor, this definitely is not the case here. Instead, capsicum fruits store up the chemical known as capsaicin in what's known as the pith, or the white fleshy part surrounding the seeds. This chemical is what makes peppers spicy to us mammals, as we were never the intended consumer of these fruits. Birds, on the other hand, can eat peppers no problem, allowing them to disperse pepper seeds much better than a mammal ever could. If
Sorry,
squash
guys,
or
this is
peppers
my
aren't
just like
your
a
thing, Mesoamerica
lowdown
still has
thing. I
plenty
need
of
some
sweets
chocolate,
to
I think.
offer. In the first video, I mentioned that this is where avocados, guavas, and papayas originated.
I wanna
But
try the
besides
guavas.
those, we also have
I did,
mamoncillo,
obviously.
tomatillo, zapadilla, and cheramoya, which, despite their names,
I
aren't
want all
all
of them.
that related
I wanna
to
try
one
all of them,
another.
guys.
I've actually tried mamoncillo, or Spanish lime, which is mostly just a big seed with a little flesh surrounding it.
Oh,
To eat
okay.
it, you need to put the whole thing in your mouth, position
kinda
it
like
with
walnut.
your tongue, and scrape the fruity part off with your bottom front teeth, spitting the seed out once you're done. I honestly can't remember how it tastes though. All I remember is how slimy it was. Tomatillos are to tomatoes what green apples are to red apples. Where the tomato is juicy and a little sweet, the tomatillo is more tart. But when all is said and done, both end up in
Yeah, I
their
recently
respective
bought
salsas.
tomatillo salsa,
Lastly,
and
for
I have to
Mesoamerica,
say I
we
wasn't
have
really a
the
big fan of
pitaya,
it.
or what happens when you let a cactus grow its own fruit. For this, the fruit has an exceptionally
one, too.
strange-looking body, which served as the inspiration for its English name, dragon fruit. However, once Mesoamerica reaches
the fruit,
South
huh?
America, we're entering the realm of the Amazon. And while it would be easy enough to say that all of the upcoming fruit originated within the rainforest here,
Nah,
these
probably not.
hotspots aren't only about where fruiting plants grow, but also where populations of people existed to domesticate them. The first hotspot evolved as the Amazonian fruits traveled west into the Andes region, where it was the Inca who grew and bred wild fruits into the ones we would recognize today. The most popular Incan fruit, the tomato, was mentioned in the last video, but that's not where the story ends. Next, we have the closely related tamarillo, which, yes, is different from both the tomato
related to
and the
tomato.
tomatillo, and earns the distinction of being another very exotic fruit that I've gotten to try. While the name might be misleading, Cape gooseberries, or just golden berries, are
Yeah, I love
another
those too.
tomato relative found
so
here,
nice.
and cutting them open, we can see these berries reveal a fruiting structure very similar to the
Well,
rest of the tomato
a few years
family.
ago they were just called
Further
physalis,
east, we'll
but now
find
they call it like
Pantanal, the largest
goldberries and
tropical
things like that.
wetland
So.
in the world, and it's in this region that the Guarani and Tupi people cultivated their own unique fruits along the banks of the Paraguay and Paraná rivers. Mentioned already was the pineapple and passion fruit, but that's not
like those
all.
two.
It should come as no surprise that the Guarani people are responsible for the guarana, which remains one of Brazil's best kept secrets, considering its seeds
What is
contain
I hear
twice the
guarana, but I didn't
concentration
even
of
realize
caffeine
it
as coffee seeds do,
worked
making
like
it a
that.
very popular flavor and ingredient in
Why
South
is it called
American
Antarctica,
sodas
though?
and especially energy drinks.
Now I wanna try that
When
too.
extracted from the fruit, the guarana seeds
Guarana
closely
seeds,
resemble
guarana.
the
Oh,
acai
yeah.
berry as well as the jabuticaba, both of which are also
Jabuticaba.
native to this and
Jabuticaba.
surrounding
I'm
regions.
absolutely perplexed
Like
about
guarana,
jabuticaba, how it
acai
works,
is
how it
another
grows.
fruit taken advantage of by the quote-unquote health industry. People have gone so far as to call
at
this
them,
a
looks like a-
superfood, when in reality these berries contain the same basic antioxidants, fiber, or whatever
Normal
health
berries?
buzzword is popular as
Blueberries?
any other berry.
Looks like
Don't get
berries.
me
I wanna
wrong,
try
eating fruit
them.
in general
God,
is so
I
good
can't
for
get
you,
them
it's
anywhere
just not
here.
going to
Just too
cure
far from it.
cancer. It's at this point that we need to move over to Asia, which unsurprisingly serves as the greatest cultivator of fruit in the world, in the solar system, and I guess in the galaxy. While there are numerous smaller hotspots for fruit like Central Asia where the apple, pear, and peach all originated, the greatest concentrations of fruits came out of the ancient Southeast Asian rainforest, so much so in fact that it spawned 3 separate hotspots. In the last video, we learned that East Asia, and particularly South Central China through Vietnam, saw the evolution of kiwis and kumquats. And to this
Tasty
list,
ones.
I'd like to add laiki, loquats, and langan, all of which
Okay.
are about the same
last two,
size,
I don't
which
think
is
I've
to
ever
say
tried.
pretty small. The largest of the bunch when it comes to China are the mandarin and persimmon, both of which, while definitely bigger than the rest,
add those
still
two.
pale in comparison to the fruits found further south. If you're looking for big fruits, Indonesia, and specifically peninsular Malaysia, Sumatra, and Borneo has you covered. It's here where durian and challah fruits were
No,
first
I haven't tried
cultivated,
those yet,
though
either.
if you want really big fruit, you should have paid more attention to those pumpkins. Larger than the fruit itself, the odor given off by durian is famously horrible, to the point where some places won't even let you carry
Oh.
one with you. The Indonesian islands, of course, also feature a wide selection of smaller fruits, such as rambutan, pulasan, salak, and mangosteen. Rambutan and pulasan, if you couldn't tell, are closely related and are basically the crazy cousins of the laiki and langan. Salak, similar to the dragon fruit, has its scaly appearance to thank for its more common English name, snake fruit. Lastly, in the previous video, I mentioned the pomelo originated here. What I didn't mention was that the pomelo was one of the original citrus fruits, which is actually a pretty big deal.
Pomelos
You see,
well.
despite being
You
one
have
of
to
the
really, like,
most
peel a lot
popular
of
fruit
stuff from it,
groups,
though.
the citrus family only has 3 original ancestors: the pomelo, the mandarin, and the citron. Together, it was different combinations of these 3 fruits that yielded even more popular ones, such as oranges, blood oranges, tangerines, lemons, limes, grapefruits, all the way to Buddha's hand, which is really nothing more than a strangely shaped citron. This finally brings us to India. Besides the citron, there are a number of other cool fruits to talk about here, like the jackfruit, the largest of any tree-grown fruit, the cucumber, mulberry, lakucha. They have wood apples, which I'm not sure how you're supposed to eat, but wood apple juice doesn't look so bad. And it's even here in India that what's known as the Korean melon originated, despite the name. But I'd like to save most of my time in India to talk about its single greatest fruit. You see, in my first video, I did in fact mention this fruit, just extremely briefly, which has since led to non-stop posts asking about it in the comments. The fruit in question is, of course, the mango. To give you a picture of how much the people of this subcontinent enjoy the mango, if all of these hundreds of comments weren't already enough, India, of course, is the world's top producer, harvesting over 4 times as many mangoes as the next top producer, China. And I don't think it's possible to produce 4 times more than China of anything without truly loving it.
True.
However, the most popular commercial mango, mostly due to its long shelf life rather than its taste, is a cultivar known as Tommy Atkins, which doesn't sound very Indian. That's because it was all the way over here in Florida that this strain was first produced. While some might find this surprising, it makes sense. Not only does Florida sit at the same latitude as most of India, but the United States as a whole has a rich history of developing new fruits. I learned this a couple years ago when a friend of mine showed me a juice made from what's called loganberry. Years later, when I looked for every list of exotic fruit I could find on the internet, loganberry was never mentioned, and eventually I had to research it myself. What I found was that loganberry was invented in Santa Cruz, California by someone unsurprisingly named James Harvey Logan. The new berry was the result of a cross between the European originating blackberry and raspberry. And then it was loganberry crossed with more blackberries, raspberries, and even something called a dewberry that what's known as boysenberry was created, this time by Rudolph Boysen, again in California. In 1992, the California-based company Calgene got approval for the very first genetically engineered food to ever hit consumer shelves, the Flavor Saver tomato. Since then, more and more have gained approval, and despite the ethics of genetic modification, this presents a brand new means of fruit creation. Looking towards the future, we might see the emergence of new fruit cultivation hotspots, this time not based off the local biodiversity, but rather the local brainpower.
Whoa.
Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed and saw any fruit you were hoping to see. Did I do a good job or are there still some missing? Of course, let me know in the comments. Also, let me know how you like the new map, and if you want a flat version of this map with all the fruits on it, head over to my Twitter. I've got a lot of great videos planned with this, so if you want to make sure you see those, don't be scared to subscribe, and maybe even venture over to my Patreon, like all of these kind of people going by on screen, to support what I do here. Thanks.
I don't know. No, I think that was all. God, I got really hungry now for some fruits. Like, really nice kind of fruit salad or something like that. Guys, I'm gonna have to just get happy with this. For now. Okay. I'm really getting hungry. I can hear. I really have to go and eat something because my belly is getting grumbly now after all that food, watching that food and stuff. Thank you very much for watching. Dude, is there any mention of, any fruit that he haven't mentioned that you can think about? Like I said, cherries, currants. He did show them in the pictures and stuff, but and currants, cherries and currants. And gooseberries. That's pretty much all, but that's probably some kind of, I don't even know where they come from, so probably cherries are some kind of distant cousin of plums or something like that. I wonder. I have to check his channel if they have more. He probably does. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye bye.